Hello and welcome back to the Art of Storytelling. I'm your host Tom Jaleo. Today I'm with John Muchangi, who is an editor's dream to work with because his work is well researched and beautifully written. He was number 2 in the top 10 features of 2021 with a story on drought titled A Future Stolen Before It Began. A very poignant, very moving story about children dying in hospital because of hunger. Muchangi, welcome to this series.
Thank you very much.
Okay, first of all, how would you describe your style of writing?
It's a bit difficult to describe my style of writing because over the years I just write and without trying to follow a certain style. But one thing I always try to is to make the story human enough. Like if we are writing about the story you have mentioned about drought, it's a story that someone can relate with. If they cannot relate with, maybe something they can feel or something they can see. So creating these images with the stories is something I try to do.
Okay, descriptive kind of writing.
Yes.
Okay, how long does it take you to write a feature?
Well, it depends. Sometimes it takes me a very long time. Sometimes it takes me even a month because it depends with the story. There are stories I already have all the information I think I need, and for that one, as soon as I complete the interviews and some research, I can write within a short time. The other stories that I always feel I need to talk to more people. I need to do more reading. So for these stories, it takes a long time, and but I try to do the story as soon as I finish the interviews because sometimes the urge that you had or the motivation you had, I realize with time it goes down. If you want to bring it up again, you have to go through your interviews, you have to go through the readings you did, which is like doing the same thing twice.
Okay, is 1 month enough?
Yes, 1 month is enough. It depends with the story. Some stories even a day is enough, but some stories a month is what is enough.
Okay. Even as you struggle to describe your style of writing, you mentioned that you like to make the readers to feel something. So how have you perfected the art of evoking empathy?
There's one time I read somewhere that the best kind of writing is where, for instance, if you want to make somebody angry, the writing or your words must not be angry, but when somebody reads what you write, they'll get angry. So that's something I always try to do. So whatever I want to evoke in the mind of the reader, I make sure if it's empathy, like you mentioned, my words do not seem very empathetic, but when I describe the situation, when somebody reads, this is the emotion they get when they read whatever I have written.
Okay. Over the years, you've managed to get some very big names for interviews, including Bill Gates. What is the trick?
One thing I learned from our training editor who used to work at the Star, she is called Karen Rothmeyer. She now resides in New York. It's many times you don't need the big connections. You just need to ask. Actually, many of the big names I've interviewed, it's because I just asked. Maybe wrote an email or maybe found the communication officer for the institutions they had, and then I wrote an email and I asked, can I interview so and so? And surprisingly, many times they say yes.
Okay. And what is the importance of grants and partnerships in facilitating research?
It's nowadays when you see media institutions, it's not like in the past 20 years when media institutions used to have big budgets for research, big budgets for travel. So and nowadays the budget is a bit constrained, so it's important to seek collaborations from partners. These partners should not try to influence what you write or the outcome of your stories, but it could be they are interested in For instance, like if it's issue of drought, it could be they are also working in drought response, and they probably don't want you to do some public relations for them, but they are ready to support you to highlight this problem that they think is not well highlighted. And so some of these issues, the media houses may not have budget for that. For instance, now we are in an election year. It's probably the focus is on the election, but when you have partnerships, you can still be able to follow other issues that will probably not bring much money to the media house, or will not bring much readership, but it's still an important issue.
Okay, and finally, what is your advice to reporters who don't write features? Why should they?
It's I think everybody needs to try and write feature stories, even if as a reporter you only report on news. For me, it's always a very good way of expressing myself, of writing stories. I've always dreamt of writing, and I always do it. For me, it's always I find a lot of personal fulfillment when I write feature stories rather than the news stories.
Personal fulfillment. Thank you very much, Muchangi, and thank you also for watching. I hope you've learned something. Until next time, see you.